I'm your news anchor, Sid Truther. Amid the disheartening coronavirus situation of social distancing and the lack of tests, we have a heartwarming report of a group of youngsters bound for big things in life. Here's Shrinika to tell us more.
Thank you, Sid. And hi, I'm Shrinika, and good afternoon. This is a heartwarming story of a group of 5th to 7th years that attend Seattle Chinmaya Bala Vihar. Amid the gloom and loom, these kids would like to share with us what they've learned this year on symbolism in Hinduism, or its rightful name, Sanatana Dharma. This inspires them to lead enriched lives in the path of Dharma. Let's get to know these kids a little bit more. First, we ask them what inspires them to come to Bala Vihar each week.
I started Bala Vihar when I was very young. My parents brought me here so I can better understand my values and culture roots, so I live my life in a good way. When I was young, I loved the stories. We have so many symbolic characters in our Puranas, and as I learned to love the characters and the choices they made, naturally and in a determination what they mean to stay on the path of what is right, the path of righteousness. Now I am older, Bala Vihar is a space where I can be myself, ask questions, and explore who am I.
Hello, in Bala Vihar, I learned many things. In the Bala Vihar family, it's not just like any other class. In a normal class like math or English, I learned how to make a living in life. But in Bala Vihar, I learned what the true meaning of success is and where I can find happiness. I learned values that I use in my everyday life. Also, I have many friends in Bala Vihar too. In Bala Vihar, I learn what my true inner nature is, and I really enjoy coming to it every Sunday.
Bala Vihar is a family event. The older kids are great role models for the younger children. It's a support network. I know no matter where I go and where life takes me, I will always have my network of Chinmaya Mission to guide me and remind me of my priorities.
This year, the students have been learning symbolism in Hinduism. Let's first understand what symbolism means.
Our mind thinks in the form of objects. When someone says flower, an image of a flower appears in our mind. God is all around us and through us, but it's difficult for us to perceive this. Symbols remind us of the nature of God. We are not yet able to see God in everything, but we can at least start by seeing God in a symbol. And as our understanding grows, we can expand our vision.
For example, Lord Ganesha with his big ears reminds us to listen. Listening is the first step to understanding. When we understand, we can ask more questions to improve that understanding, and eventually live that understanding. When we have an Ishta Devata, or favorite god, we can cultivate love and devotion for that god. We can more naturally imbibe the good values that god symbol represents. Or in other words, we are the company we keep.
What are some symbols kids really connected to within Hinduism?
In the turning of the ocean, Lord Shiva drank all the poison so that it would not hurt anyone. The poison turned his neck blue, as you can see here, because he did not swallow it entirely and kept it in his throat and did not let it go down into his stomach. We all have troubles and sorrows. We must apply our intelligence and act in the best way possible. But we must not let the situation make us bitter and poison ourselves.
Mother Kali holds a severed head dripping with blood. She wears a garland of skulls and looks fierce. Lots of people believe that she is the goddess of death. However, that's not true. Mother Kali reminds us that we are not this physical body. This physical body perishes because it is made of matter like everything else in this world. We need to care for our body, but Mother Kali reminds us that we should not become overly attached to what we look like and what we wear. Instead, she reminds us to focus on going deeper to find out the true nature of who we are.
Lotus. A number of the gods are shown to be sitting or holding a lotus flower. The lotus flower grows in a muddy pond, but the flower itself always remains wet. We do not choose the circumstances we are presented with, where we are born, our economic status, how we look, etc. But we do have the ability to choose how we respond to our circumstances. The lotus reminds us to always stay true to our nature, no matter the external circumstances. Are these symbols really relatable to kids in today's generation? Let's go to Ambika and Samita, who are speaking to a team of robotics students to find out more.
Thanks, Shrinika. Hi, I'm Ambika. Today we're going to be speaking with a group of kids from Chinmaya Mission Seattle that are working on a robotics project so they can understand how they apply Hindu symbolism in their lives.
Welcome to my robotics team. They will help you understand how these symbols are timeless and how they apply to our lives.
Hi team, I hear that you're working on building a companion robot. Can you explain how you're applying principles of Sanatana Dharma in your scientific project? Meghna, what is that you're holding in your hand?
I have made this Ganesha idol out of the hardware we are using for our project. Ganesha is the remover of obstacles, also known as Vigna Raja. Farmers from India make small Ganesha idols from the soil before they start planting their seeds. My mother makes small Ganesha statues out of dough before cooking a special meal. It helps us start with a positive note and treats our work as worship.
Do you think that the statue of Ganesha is real? How can that remove any obstacles?
Good question! Ganesha embodies sharp listening, clear and quick understanding, and decision making, which are the tools for problem solving. Ganesha represents my convictions. There is no magic.
Interesting. Why not just use a post-it with a list of those qualities? Why Ganesha? To invoke these qualities, you need to have devotion. Why take that extra step? Why cultivate devotion? To answer these questions, Kai will be joining us from his home. So Kai, do you think that the statue of Ganesha is helpful as opposed to a post-it note?
If you want to apply those skills, you need a lot more than that. Ganesha's statue is a reminder, but it can become a post-it note and lifeless if you do not have the right values. The values are the prerequisites for those qualities.
Over to Sampita, who is speaking to a few more members of the robotics team to better understand the values Kai was referring to.
Thank you, Ambika. Okay, so let's dig deeper. What are those values?
There are 6 values, and let me start with 2 of those values, Sama and Dhamma. Sama is control of the mind. For example, if there's something that normally angers you, it does not if you have Sama. Dhamma is control of the senses. For example, if you feel angry because of something, you do not show it to the rest of the world if you have Dhamma.
I can see that. When you have a goal in mind, you have to make certain sacrifices. I had to study hard, which means I had to reduce watching TV and focus on my books to become a reporter. It was not easy, but how can you even completely control your senses? If you just suppress your anger, isn't that harmful? How can you achieve Shama and Dhamma?
Suppression without understanding is dangerous. Let me show you something. Here in the kitchen, I express my desire for sweets. I relish it. But as I leave to a different room, I stop dwelling on it. Moderation. Sama or control of the mind is hard to obtain. I practice chanting, meditation, quiet time, and drama bhajans to obtain this. Rama like Ishtadevi. Doing this builds a line of peace and calms it. This all allows me to focus.
The next 2 values are Shraddha and Samadhana. Shraddha means faith, and I have faith that my elders know what's best for me and that they understand it better than me. Samadhana is when your mind is even, and only even minds can learn. Titiksha is endurance, and Uparama is withdrawal of the mind.
Is there a god that embodies these as well?
A god is actually Goddess Lakshmi.
Oh, the goddess of wealth.
I know that is what she is known for, but the wealth she represents is the wealth of character, not material wealth. When you read and learn about these, they are values. When you practice them, they become virtues.
So when you are virtuous, you are able to determine what the right action or dharma is and also perform it in the right manner. I learned a new term today. What is Ishta Devata?
Hinduism is a monotheistic polytheism religion, which means there's one supreme Lord of truth and many forms. A person can have an Ishtadevata, which is Sanskrit for a favorite god. For example, when I am doing a writing essay or taking a test, I think of Lord Saraswati, which helps me with focus. And when I'm in a basketball game, I think of Lord Hanuman, which will give me bravery, strength, and courage.
What I have learned so far is that there is an equal emphasis on both the right action, or dharma, and devotion and faith, and they go hand in hand. One reinforces the other. But what if I have a question? Does that mean that I don't have faith? When I do the right things and I don't get the rightful results, it is really hard to have faith.
Yes, it is. This is where titiksha, endurance, and samadhana, quiet mind, comes in. I find playing with my dog or going on a bike ride helps me get my titiksha and samadhana. Think about what brings them back to you. This way you can go back and find out why things did not turn out the way you expected. There's always a way. You can only find out if you actually use your intellect. And you can only do that if your mind is quiet.
A religion that encourages the use of the intellect. Now that's refreshing. Let's see how the final stages of the robotics project are coming along. Stakes are high and the students might be quite nervous. I have spoken to Ashwin here. He is leaving for the robotics competition in a few minutes and does not appear to be nervous. Why is that, Ashwin? Are you focusing on the big picture? As they say, keeping your eye on the ball?
You could say that, but the short answer is uparama, withdrawal of the mind. When you are concerned about the project failing, you get nervous. When you are concerned about the project being a huge success, you get excited. Both are outer result oriented. Both cloud your intelligence. But if you focus on a higher purpose beyond yourself, you will achieve uparama. You are in the zone.
So here's a graph that shows the relationship between nervousness or excitement and the importance of the work. So if you're concerned about failing, then you'll be in this section, you'll be nervous. If you're excited about it being a huge success, then you're in this section, you're excited. Now as the importance of the work goes up, so does your nervousness or excitement. And at this very center, at the origin, is being indifferent. So uparama does not go in the center because that would be being indifferent. And uparama is being in the zone. So if we had to choose one spot on this graph where uparama would belong, we would need to create a third dimension from this graph, and uparama would be in that third dimension coming from the graph.
My goal through this companion robot is to help sick kids and the elderly by reducing loneliness and improving their safety. This particular competition is a big step, but it is still a step towards that goal. Whether I win in this competition or not, I will still win in my goal, but I would have learned something that will help me achieve my goal. I have to go now. Be safe.
Wow, Sanatana Dharma has so much to offer to each of us to lead more inspired lives every day. We can all learn from these kids. If we focus our minds on improving and bringing out the best in us, imagine what kind of world we can create.
These kids, instead of feeling sad about being stuck at home, took this opportunity to attend their Bala Vihar class each week. They're enthusiastically looking into themselves and understanding the essence of who they are and trying to be the best person they can be each day. Because of this attitude, they become selfless, dynamic, and create a positive impact on the world. With these kids at the helm of the new generation, I feel more encouraged about the future of the human race.